Okay, so wow, you guys sent us a ton of Me and the Boys wrestling match results, and it's nuts.
Yeah, it is.
NXG's invading, alliances are like crumbling, and I gotta be honest, even we are having trouble keeping up with it all.
I know.
And something that's really fascinating to me is how NXG is really going after the core of Me and the Boys wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even just about winning matches. They're really trying to, like, reshape the entire landscape.
Absolutely. It's a completely different game they're playing. I mean, these guys like
Yeah, like Cameron Taylor and
yeah,
Fingers,
Torch, Road Pig, Angelo King.
Buzz Up Butcher.
Yes. Connor and Sweet Death, they are aggressive, they are unpredictable, and they're not afraid to just push the boundaries.
Right, and the Me and the Boys roster just seems totally unprepared for this.
Yeah.
Like, remember when we thought the Elite was unstoppable?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, now they're barely holding on.
Their dominance has been completely disrupted.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see, the niceties are gaining momentum and NXG's picking up these key victories.
Yeah, it's a total power shift.
It really is. Yeah, in real time, we're watching it.
And speaking of power shifts, we got to talk about that DMP versus Fingers match.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a 2 out of 3 falls submission match, and it ended in a draw.
It's insane to see. I mean, MMP, he's a powerhouse. He's a brawler, but he's never been known for his submission skills.
Right.
And to see him forced into that kind of match against a submission specialist like Fingers,
Oh, my God.
it's crazy. It really is a testament to NXG's strategic thinking.
Yeah, and Fingers is relentless. He's got that terrifying mandible claw, and he's already proven that he could beat DMP.
Absolutely.
And we can't forget Arai.
Oh, my goodness.
DMP's wife and the ladies' champion got ejected from ringside after she decked Fingers.
I know.
That's wild.
Things are really heating up, the emotions are running high, and the lines are getting blurred between personal rivalries and professional competition.
It is a powder keg waiting to explode.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so before we get too deep into DMP and Fingers, we got to talk about the overall standings, because the Elite started out with this massive lead, but guess who is catching up?
I don't know who.
The Niceties.
Oh, wow, the Niceties. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, they're proving to be more than just this fan favorite team. They're strategic, they're resilient, and they're really capitalizing on the chaos that NXG is creating.
They even won that War Games match against the Droogs,
I know.
which was a bloodbath, by the way.
It was insane.
And Spectre's win in that six-pack challenge makes her the #1 contender for Arai's Ladies Championship.
That is huge.
Yeah, so
Yeah, they are definitely the dark horse in all of this, and I think they're a force to be reckoned with, and they could very well come out on top
yeah.
when the dust settles.
So speaking of surprises, can we talk about the Black Knight?
Oh, yeah, the Black Knight. This is interesting.
This masked wrestler interfered in the Papa Shango uses Bob Belcher match,
Right.
helping Belcher secure the win.
Okay.
And here's the thing, he's been seen on NXG programming too.
He has.
Yeah, so
That's so weird.
what is going on? Is he a double agent? Is he playing both sides? Or is this something even more complex?
Yeah, this is a real mystery, and it's got me hooked.
Me too. And speaking of mysteries, this whole NXG invasion has got me wondering, will the Me and the Boys roster be able to, like, unite against this common enemy? Or will they just crumble under the pressure?
I think that's the question, right? I mean, we've seen these glimpses of unity,
Yeah.
When the entire roster came together to face off against NXG during that initial invasion. But we're also seeing these cracks, these betrayals, alliances are made, they're broken, and it just seems like everyone's kind of looking out for themselves.
Yeah, which makes them very vulnerable to this NXG divide and conquer strategy.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so compelling. I mean, this isn't just about wins and losses. It's about, the survival of Me and the Bull wrestling as we know it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
okay, we should probably apologize for a little bit of a pronunciation faux pas.
Oh.
We've been saying the Quebecers, but it's actually the Quebecers.
Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry, folks.
It's all good. We all make mistakes.
We do. So,
Yeah.
speaking of learning and growing, I wanted to give a shout out to Double Block.
Oh, De Block. Yeah.
His energy is infectious,
It is.
and he's so dedicated to Me and the Boys wrestling. It's really inspiring.
I agree.
And his scoring system, genius.
It's so good.
It adds this whole new layer of strategy to the game.
It really does.
And it keeps the competition so fierce.
It's brilliant. I love it. It's a really smart way to track the progress of all these different factions and alliances. And it gives us a way to measure the impact of NXG, this invasion.
Speaking of impact, let's talk about some individual performances that stood out to us this week.
Okay, yeah.
First up, Angelo King.
Oh, Angelo King's debut match against French Lover.
Yes.
Oh my God, he showed such incredible agility.
He did.
Athleticism, even in defeat. I mean, that backflip off the ropes, it was breathtaking.
It was insane.
Yeah, he's definitely one to watch. I'm excited to see what he does.
Me too. And can we talk about Cameron Taylor's double victory?
Oh, yeah.
He picked up a win against the Block.
Uh-huh.
And then he and his tag team partner, Connor Lane, defeated the Jungle Boys to become the new tag team champions.
Oh my God, that tables match was brutal.
It was insane.
Yeah, and that superplex through a table to get the victory, that was a statement.
It was.
Yeah, he's sending a message.
To the entire Me and the Boys roster that NXG is here to stay.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to take what they want.
Absolutely.
And it's not just Cameron Taylor.
Right.
The entire NXG roster is making their presence felt,
Yeah.
winning matches, they're causing chaos, and they're really forcing the Me and the Boys wrestling veterans to adapt or be left behind.
It is a fascinating and terrifying spectacle, and it feels like we're just getting started.
Yeah, we're just getting started, but okay, we need to just take a moment to appreciate the insanity of this whole situation.
That's a lot.
NXG running rampant, alliances are shifting constantly, and the champion is really being pushed to his limit.
Yeah, it's like we're living in this wrestling fever dream, and we just can't wake up.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I know, it's so good.
This is what makes Me and the Boys wrestling so captivating.
It is.
The unpredictability, the drama,
Totally.
the constant evolution.
I mean, it's a living, breathing entity, right? This league,
Yes.
it's constantly changing, it's adapting, and right now it's going through this radical transformation.
It really is.
I mean,
so
yeah, it's insane.
awesome. I mean, it really feels like we're on the edge of just this whole new era of Me and the Boys wrestling.
It does.
The old guard is being challenged. We're seeing all these new alliances form, and the soul of the league is at stake. And at the center of this whole seismic shift, that DMP versus Fingers rematch,
Oh, yeah.
it's not even just about a title. It's like a symbolic clash between like the old ways and this like wave of chaos.
Exactly. DMP, he represents everything. Me and the Boys wrestling has always been about,
Right.
creativity, camaraderie, and this, like, willingness to just push the boundaries.
Right.
Fingers, on the other hand, he's like the embodiment of NXG's ruthlessness. It's like a win-at-all-costs mentality.
So how can DMP even possibly beat Fingers in a submission match?
I don't know.
We've seen Fingers just dominate that style, and DMP, I mean, he's known for his power moves,
Right.
not like technical grappling.
And that's the question on everyone's mind, right? Can DMP adapt? Can he, like, overcome his weaknesses and find a way to counter Fingers?
Well, we've seen him pull out some pretty uncharacteristic moves.
We have.
I mean, even attempting a submission hold.
Yeah.
And with RI's interference, it's clear that DMP is willing to bend the rules a little bit to stay on a hop.
I mean, that barbed wire bat he's been carrying around,
Yeah.
that is a threat, like a symbol of his desperation.
It is.
Will he cross that line? I mean, will he sacrifice his principles to keep that championship?
What a moral dilemma.
It is.
What do you think Fingers' strategy is going to be? Will he, like, try to exploit DMP's emotional state? Or is he going to stick to his methodical submission focus?
I think Fingers is a master strategist.
Yeah.
He's going to try and control the pace of the match, wear DMP down, and force him to make a mistake.
Right.
He's going to be looking for any sign of weakness,
Oh, yeah.
any crack in DMP's resolve, anything.
So this match is going to be a psychological thriller just as much as a physical battle.
Absolutely.
And I think the entire Me and the Boys wrestling universe is going to be holding their breath until the very end.
I think so, too. This could define a generation. It's a turning point that will just, like, echo through the history of Me and the Boys wrestling.
For sure. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the main event.
Yeah.
But there were so many other insane moments and matches this week.
There were, yeah.
I mean, the Rumble, that War Games match,
Oh, my God.
Angelo King's debut. I mean, where do we even start?
I know. It's just like a whirlwind of action.
Yeah.
But even in the chaos, there are these little details.
Yeah.
Like these hidden gems that just make Me and the Boys wrestling so special.
You're so right. It's those little touches, Like, remember when we realized that the Quebecers, the Quebecers, sorry, all have a fleur-de-lis hidden somewhere on their gear?
It's insane. It's those little details that really show, like, the thought and the care that goes into making these characters and the storyline.
It's like they're building a whole world, this, like, tapestry of personalities and rivalries and narratives.
Then as viewers, we get to just, like, step into that world,
Yeah. Become part of the community.
Yeah.
Speaking of the community,
Yeah.
I can't help but wonder how they're feeling about all this.
I know, right?
This NXG invasion, like,
Yeah.
are they embracing it? Are they resisting it?
There's definitely a feeling of unease, like things are never going to be the same.
Yeah.
But there's also excitement, this curiosity about what's going to happen next.
It's like we're all in this roller coaster together,
I know.
just hurtling towards an unknown destination.
I love it. This is why we love Me and the Boys wrestling.
I know, it's so good.
It's this journey of discovery. It's constantly evolving, and we're along for the ride.
Okay, so we've covered a lot, but I feel like there's still more to unpack here. What are we missing?
Oh, there's always more.
What are those like hidden layers, those unanswered
Well, there's
questions?
a few things.
Okay.
Like, remember Snowman Snurf?
Oh yeah. What was that all about?
Ended up on the NXG roster.
So weird. Is there some deeper connection there that we're not seeing?
It's possible we don't have all the answers, but it just seems too strange to ignore.
It
It could be
does.
nothing, or it could be a clue to some big conspiracy.
Right.
It's really hard to say.
And what about those rumors about Papa Shango's curse on French loving?
Oh, yeah, was it real? Was it all just a big hoax?
Yeah,
I mean, these are the kind of questions that keep us up at night.
I know.
Scouring the internet for clues.
Totally.
Just analyzing every match and every promo, looking for some hidden meaning.
You're right. There's like this detective element to being a Me and the Boys wrestling fan.
There totally
We're
is.
piecing together this puzzle, and the pieces are everywhere.
And that's part of the fun. It's the thrill of the hunt.
Yes,
The satisfaction of figuring it out,
I love it.
and just like the anticipation of what's coming next. What are we going to find out?
All right, so we've gone through all these match results, looked at the alliances, talked about the mysteries, but I think the big question that remains is, what does all this mean for Me and the Boys wrestling?
I know, it's like the $1,000,000 question.
Yeah, it feels like we're watching this whole new era unfold.
It does.
Like this seismic shift in the very foundation of the league. So will Me and the Boys wrestling ever be the same?
Honestly, I don't think so.
Yeah,
But that's not a bad thing necessarily.
Right.
I mean, change can be scary, it can be chaotic,
for sure.
but it can also be this catalyst for growth.
So you're saying that NXT's invasion could actually make Me and the Boys wrestling stronger?
I think so. I mean, think of it like this, like a trial by fire.
Yeah,
The league is being pushed to its absolute limit,
right.
forced to confront its weaknesses and really adapt to this new, much more aggressive environment.
So what happens if they don't adapt?
Well, that's the risk, right?
Yeah.
They could totally crumble under the pressure, lose their identity, become just like a cheap copy of NXG.
Yeah.
But I have faith in Me and the Boys wrestling. They've always been innovators, risk takers, they're pioneers of the unexpected.
So you're optimistic.
I am.
You think they're going to rise to this challenge?
Yeah, I see this as an opportunity for them to totally reinvent themselves,
Okay.
to take the best parts of NXG, their intensity and athleticism, but still maintain what makes them special.
Right, that unique creativity and camaraderie.
Exactly, yeah.
So as we kind of look ahead, what should we be watching for? What are those signs that Me and the Boys wrestling is adapting?
Well, first, look for signs of unity.
Okay,
Can they put aside their personal differences
right.
and come together against NXG?
Okay.
And then watch for new alliances. I mean, the lines are getting blurred here. We might see some really surprising partnerships popped up.
Oh, for sure.
And then just pay attention to the individual wrestlers who's really stepping up their game.
Yeah, who's cracking under pressure.
Exactly.
And of course, we can't forget about that rematch.
Oh, the rematch, DMP versus Fingers.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be a defining moment, just like this clash of the titans.
More than a title match, it's really a battle for the soul of Me and the Boys wrestling.
I think so, yeah. And the outcome is going to have huge implications for the future of the league.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to really think about? What's the big takeaway here?
Pay attention to the details.
Okay.
Don't just focus on the big matches and the shocking storylines. Look for those subtle clues, the connections, those little things that might reveal a bigger story.
Because in Me and the Boys wrestling, nothing is as it seems.
Exactly.
Wise words. And with that, we'll leave you with this final thought. We've talked a lot about how NXG is changing Me and the Boys wrestling, but how is Me and the Boys wrestling changing NXG? Are they influencing each other? Are they becoming more alike? These are the questions that will keep us coming back week after week to try and unravel these mysteries and watch this incredible league evolve. So until next time, same annal, for DMP versus Fingers 2.